Right, welcome to another episode of this digital online series. Today we'll be looking at another episode of OpenCV with Python, and we'll be looking at the color spectrum again. Right, so today we'll be seeing how we can change the color of a certain frame or image without needing to reboot the whole program. You need to launch it again. Right, so this will come with customized variables and a slider bar that we'll be looking to create today. Right, so the main idea is to create a track bar that will be able to help us to do all this. So it's part of the graphic user interface GUI. So we'll start off with, of course, the simple line where you start with the video capture of the image, of the frame. Then we'll call another method called name window. So this will be the window that we will create our track bar on. So we just call the window track bar like this, and then we'll create our track bar using these methods. So it's called create track bar, like just as simple as that. Create track bar. So the first, like in the color spectrum, we look at BGR. So we'll just call the first one blue, and then we'll put it on track bar. So this will just be the window that you're gonna put the first bar on. So we're gonna put the first track bar called blue on the window called track bar. And so the range, now we look at the range of values you want to put. So 0 will be the starting value. The end value is 255 because on the color spectrum, all BGR values are from 0 to 255. So then we have to pass in this function or this variable, which is a function to call something called, we'll just call it maybe print it. So that function is a very simple function that we'll be looking at later. So let's just create the other track bars for the other colors, which is green and red. Let's just do this, and after that we will create this function on top. So usually we'll put the functions all the way at the top because we want to initialize them from the beginning, so that if we were to call it at any point in the code, it will not cause an error. So say if you call print it, the function print it here, you of course have to pass an argument in, and you put right, so the function will be def called print it. We'll pass in nothing, and then we'll just pass. We'll see why we do that later. So now we move on to the main code. So this is the main loop again. So as per normal, we capture the frame, and then it's frame and if successful. So we look at inside this if successful code. So the first, then again we look at blue. So cv2 dot get track bar position. So that's to get the position of the track bar at a certain point in time. So as we shift the bar on top, they'll print out different values, and then this will be where it captures the value and it manipulates the image of the frame per se. Right, so we will image it on, then so this will correspond, this first argument here, which is a string blue, will correspond to this string over here blue, which is the first argument of this. So the second argument is just the track bar that you are receiving the value from. So we do the same for green and red, like this. Right, so here as per normal, let's just change it to this. Right, so next we will look at how we can just print it out. We'll do frame, which is just this frame over here. Frame will be array of this. So that means like all the BGR values of the frame will be equals to the blue, green, and red values. So you must note also that for images or frames within OpenCV, it's an array of blue first, followed by green, and then red. So when we call in the arguments must be displayed, not RGB and all like the normal way is done. Right. So after that, we'll proceed to print out. So cv2.imshow, and then we'll of course just call it the frame, which is the name of the window, nothing much, and then frame. So it's over here, copy it down, paste it here, and we have it. Right, so that's the code, and then the rest will just be, if there's a frame, they'll print a frame. If not, the code will just cycle back up, and then wait key and all is the normal. Right, just adjust a few errors in the code. Yeah, spelling mistake. So this is a frame. Because now the values are all at 0, so it will just image black. So this is how we can like look at how the colors will change. So now let's just maybe change the value of blue. So what we do is click on the slider and just move it, and as we increase the value, the frame becomes blue. So we shift it back down to 0, and then we'll manipulate the green. So as expected, as the value of G increases, it gets lighter, it becomes pale green. So this is the value of 0, 255, 0. So that's the image matrix, or the three elements in the array. So if one red, that's how we do it also. So we can switch them all up. You can just pick them around, the different kind of colors we want to observe. And yeah, it's white. So if we're going to look at how to match certain colors, and I mean if we want a certain shade of yellow and we want to test out how to obtain it, we can just use this program to do a quick adjustment. So you can just play around with these three, and we can get literally every color in the spectrum, because there are all these values there for you to play with. So you can just shift them around anything, and that's how you get the frame. So this frame will not display, although we used the video.capture, cv2 video.capture, but it does not image the whatever the camera is capturing, because we are manipulating the frame elements. So it will reflect the blue, green, and red value as reflected or as customized from the track bar. And yes, that's what we're going to do for today. We'll look at how we can do this tracking of colors, and then later on it will be useful for us when we try to do filtering and masking for the colors or for HSV values later. Track bars are really useful, so you can just manipulate them. If we want to like try to guess a certain color that exists in the frame, we can just use this program, or this method we use to make our life easier in a sense. So that's it for today's session. And if you're looking for the code for this track bar, find them in the description. You can use this track bar for any other purpose. Maybe like if you want to toggle on and off, if it's just a binary 1-0, it's also possible with this. Right, so feel free to play around with the code, and in the next session we'll be looking at HSV values. Right, so thank you and see you next time.